Hey guys, it's me, the American, and today we have the Ontario Mark III Mod 0, the standard issued blade for the United States Navy since the early 1980s. The Ontario Mark III Mod 0 features 6 inches of 420 stainless steel, a plastic ribbed type of handle with the United States Navy logo imprinted inside of it, and features a steel butt cap for pounding or smashing type of tasks. Blade thickness is around 0.165 inches. Now, if you watched the last video with the Glock 81 test, everybody knows what happened to Mine Man. I mean, poor guy, seriously. It was so unfortunate what happened, but I have a new target buddy today. His name is Simpson Pines. Definitely, it's already looking great. I mean, this friend right here, I mean, best target friend I've had in a long time. Hasn't fallen apart yet, hasn't given me any splinters, so we're off to a pretty good start. Now, before I begin my test, Pines over here reminded me to talk about the older Mark III versus the newer Mark III. The older Mark III featured a clip point design, while the newer Mark III has a modified clip point design. The modified clip point design is, well, inherently a lot stronger than the older version that was prone to breaking. Now, the design was changed in the early 2000s to meet the needs of sailors around the world. The blade material itself. Now, the older version is actually made from 440A, while the newer version is made from 420 stainless steel. I'm not sure if it was from cost savings or not, but the design was changed nonetheless. Now, the blade, the thickness itself, the old version is 0.16 inches thick, and the newer version is 0.165 inches thick. So, the newer version is a little bit thicker overall. Same handles, same USN logos imprinted into the handle, and on top of that, they both feel around the same weight. Now, many of my viewers ask, how sharp are these blades from the factory? Well, here I am to test it out. Safety first, my friends. Nobody wants any type of ocular damage from computer paper. Let's go ahead and try it out. Well, it seems to want to cut, but it just kind of rolls off of the paper. To be honest, I think that factory sharpening on this model could be improved greatly. Now, everybody knows that this blade is seaworthy, but is it able to cut tinder for the fire efficiently? Now remember, safety first, no splinters in the eye. Try a pushing motion first. Now, I made a couple of chips, a couple of shavings. Let's go ahead and try a chopping motion. Now, the sharpness issue is really apparent during this test. Now, the blade itself, does it feel sharp to the touch? Yeah, it actually does, but in reality, it's not really all that great at shaving tinder or chopping out tinder pieces. Definitely, the sharpness does need to be improved on the user's end if you wind up buying one of these knives. Next up, we have the 2x4 test. What if a sailor found himself in a capsized ship made completely out of wood and he had to extract himself out? Remember, safety first, my friends. I'll be striking here. Wow, The Mark III Mod Zero definitely makes a pretty good chopper. Now the thickness of the blade and the blade material itself, that 420, gives it a little bit of weight. So in reality, I think it actually makes a decent chopping blade. Handling wise, this knife handles pretty well. A little bit heavy in the hand, but it has a good amount of reach. 6 inches is definitely a decent amount of reach for a full-size blade. A little bit shorter than most full-size blades, but definitely the weight makes up for it. Now the handle itself right here, you have these two palm swells. They just fit perfectly with a hammer grip. I mean, really superb hammer grip. Now fencing or foil type of grip, not so much. You know, the butt cap kind of jabs into your palm a little bit, and it's just not a really good feeling grip. But the hammer grip itself, definite for chopping motions. Definitely, Ontario got it spot on. Now the Ontario Mark III features a small survival type of saw on the back. Now it's a real fine tooth saw, but we'll see how it saws into wood. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Definitely when you're sawing on wood real fast, I mean sawing ultimately fast, you might actually catch the wood on fire and the smoke could get in your eyes, causing some type of, let's say, ocular damage. So remember, safety always, safety first. There we go. Wow. That little saw right there cut into this 2x4 real quickly. I mean, it was actually a well-designed saw, because I was really surprised at how quick that made that notch. Now, I usually don't like survival saws on the back end of the blades. You know, most designs are kind of horrid, but this one, it's real unobtrusive, and on top of that, it's extremely effective. Now, this knife throws really well with the no-spin throw. Definitely. It sinks real deep and real hard into the target. That extra weight really gives it a lot of force behind the blade. Now, I usually throw spin throws at around 12 feet, but with this blade, since it's a little bit heavier, I'm going to have to modify it a little bit. Sticks in the target pretty hard, but I hit a little bit lower because of that extra weight. I'm usually used to throwing the Glock knives, but with this weight, it does kind of give me a little bit lower trajectory. Well, the Ontario Mark III Mod Zero made a passing grade on phase 1. Definitely passed with a B+. The sharpness was what really took it away from this knife, but the saw made up for a lot. The saw was really effective, and I actually do like this design. Let's go ahead and move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is the edge retention test. I'll be striking the edge of this knife onto this right here heavyweight concrete block. After I strike it on the edge, I'll notate where I struck it and cut into this lime rind. Depending on how difficult and how jaggedy the edge looks, I will determine if the edge keeps its shape after a strike on a hard object. Now remember, I'm already wearing my safety glasses. Safety first, my friends. Do not try this at home. Blades have failed during this part of the test. They've actually come apart. Striking right here. Struck there. Lots of hesitation. Extreme resistance. And it finally cut through. You saw I had to put some force behind that. See, there was actually a tear right here, and the edge itself is not very even. This Ontario blade, the edge holding ability is not so great. Now where I struck the edge, right around here, you can see that little chips were formed. And on top of that, the edge actually imploded on itself. This material is not that great at holding an edge. And as you can see from the limes themselves, they're real jaggedy looking. This one was actually crushed a little bit just to cut that rind. So in reality, I think that this material could be improved to have a better edge durability. Next up, we have the brick test. I'll be striking the spine of this knife onto this standard paver brick. Now this will test the material itself. If there's any flaws in the material, believe me, they're going to show up. It's either going to warp or it's definitely going to just crack or shatter. Now remember, these tests are extremely dangerous. And as always, safety first, my friends, and do not try this at home. I'm also wearing protective gloves. Gloves are real tough. Saved me countless times. Now the tang still feels pretty much intact. The handle to the blade itself, I don't feel no play so far. Let's keep going. No cheating there, Fuglycool. Perfect. No blade wobble. But I will say that the butt cap seems to have shifted slightly. Now the butt cap seems to have been dislodged from the glue that was used to secure it in place. I'm pretty sure that this screw holds the butt cap in, but as you can see, there is a big gap forming between the handle and the actual metal cap itself. Now the blade to the handle, there's no distortion whatsoever, and I don't see any type of cracks forming or any bending or anything weird. So we can go ahead and continue with our testing. Well, everybody knew that this sailor-proof knife could definitely plow through those baby bricks with us. Let's get them out of there. We don't even need them around our table anymore. Let's step it up a notch to the bigger brother. The standard construction cinder block. Very tough. Used in construction around the world. One of the toughest materials for building. This will put a lot of stress on the knife blade itself. And the knife blade where it goes into the tang, the handle, everything will be stressed. So remember, do not try this at home. Safety first, my friends. I'll be striking the spine of the knife against the cinder block. Get a better viewing angle. Lots of cinder block are getting all over me. Come on! You got to try harder! Tang seems intact. Everything seems pretty tight still. Tell you what, let's go ahead and do a couple of hammer blows right there. Let's see if that little butt cap, we can put that cap to use. All right. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Get some Mare Fuglycool action. Perfect. Whew. All right. Get some more of that. Hammer blows in. Ah. Whew, man. Wow. This knife is definitely torpedo proof. All those strikes on the cinder block and those bricks, just a little bit of scratching damage. The integrity of the blade is actually A+. It's held together very well. Now on the butt cap, this right here, definitely huge wobble, a lot of a really big gap here, and maybe in the future that could be improved a little bit. It seems that it's not a exact tight, you know, fit, but it held up really well in those hammer blow tests. Seems that the Ontario Mark III Mod 0 just sailed straight through phase 2. I mean, the brick didn't really affect the blade much, except for the pommel itself, you know, the butt cap. That was slightly damaged. I'd probably call it damage. Now, it does wobble a lot, but it has not detached itself. So, it's actually a pretty strong design. Let's go ahead and get these cinder blocks out of the way. And let's go ahead and move on to phase 3. Phase 3 will start with metal on metal penetration. GI 50 cal ammo can right here. The tip, which is actually razor sharp, will be penetrating into this ammo can right here in the center. That's the last area that I've got left on this can. I'm gonna have to get another one, and definitely we will see how effortless it is for the tip to penetrate into this hardcore 50 cal ammo can. Now remember, safety first, my friends, and do not try this at home. The blade can chip or it can slip and cause grievous damage. I'll be striking the ammo can here, right in the center. The ice pick type of grip. Wow. Would you check that out? Extreme maximum penetration. I mean, definitely. That tip makes it really effortless. I mean, it's definitely got a lot of power right there on the tip. I like this new tip design. And let's go ahead and check real quick. The tip still grabs my finger. It's not as razor sharp as before, but it is still intact. Next up, we have the standing test. I'm going to be hammering this blade right here into the 4x6 behind. My man, what are you doing here? He's trying to haunt me from the grave. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to give me a sign? Trying to tell me that in 1,000 years the trees will take over the planet? I'm not really sure, but my man, you're going to have to step aside just this one time, so that way I can go ahead and get this review done. All right, here, let me go and help you out here. And he just fell apart. Okay, that was disturbing. Close your eyes, don't let your dogs, don't let your minors see this. Very disturbing. I'm sorry, man. I really am sorry. I didn't want to do that, but you were in the way of the test. One day maybe we can rebuild you, but today is definitely not the day. As I was saying, I'll be hammering this blade into this 4x6 right here and standing on it with all my weight. We will see if it can support the mare's weight. I will hammer it in about 1.5 inches from the tip to the blade part itself, and definitely this will put a lot of stress horizontally through the handle, the metal itself, you know, all the carbides and the molecular structure. If it cannot take the pressure, it will crack for sure. The butt cap, hopefully it will stay on. Now remember, safety first, my friends, and definitely don't try this one at home. Pick a good spot here. There we go. All right, sunken in pretty deep. And that always happens as usual. The clamps of justice are trying to stop me from the knife destruction. Alrighty, let's go and pull that out. You know, this 420 stainless steel is pretty tough. I cannot see if this blade has bent or not, so I will say that it definitely has passed this test with flying colors. Now, I was very surprised in the standing test because the blade itself is extremely straight still. Most knives that I've tested have bent around the tip, but this knife, the 420, seems to be extremely durable. Last up on our testing is the pull-up test. Will this knife blade support the mare's weight? I'll be doing pull-ups on this blade, on this metal pipe right here. Now remember, extremely dangerous test. Safety first, my friends, and definitely don't try this at home. This is for mare Fuglycool trained professionals such as myself. Come on! Swim to the aircraft carrier, come on! 1 swimming lap. 2 swimming lap. 3, come on, he's coming! He's coming, the Loch Ness Monster's coming! 4, 5. Finally. We made it to the aircraft carrier. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Fuglycool pull-ups. Alright guys and gals, well, there you have it. The Ontario Mark III Mod 0 is definitely as tough as a Navy battleship. This thing is pretty much, believe me, torpedo proof. I know I said it before, but this knife is really durable. Now, definitely mare approved. I think it's a great all-around survival knife, great all-around camp knife, field knife, and can cover a lot of multiple tasks. Now, is it efficient at everything? No. I think that some of the cons are that it should be sharper from the factory, and on top of that, the butt cap does, the pommel itself gives me a little bit of worriment because it has a good sized gap in it now from all of those hammer blows. Now, no knife is perfect, but I will say that it is extremely durable and the tip is extremely strong, especially when I stood on it with all of my weight. Now, definitely, thanks to Ontario, great design, great knife, and as always, definitely, if you like this video, leave me a like. Say, Mayor Fuglycool, I love your videos, you're awesome, great video. You know what, leave me a like. If you hated this video and said, oh, well, you're tarnishing the Mark III name by beating it up, and you hurt my favorite knife, and I can't watch anymore, well, then leave me a dislike. Go ahead. Definitely, it'll help me improve on my videos, and it'll help me get a better product to y'all guys out there. Leave a comment in the comment box below. Tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. When you subscribe, you get all the cool Mayor Fuglycool action straight to your computer, your desktop, your I don't know, even the computer in your car, your tablet, your smartphone. Definitely, when you subscribe, you get all that Mare Fuglycool action directly to you. These knives retail for about around $80 online, $70 to $80. And overall, it's actually a really nice blade. Has a good amount of heft to it, but I will say that the 420 stainless steel, it is durable, but it seems that it really doesn't take a good sharpening. Now, as always, you can modify this at home. You can sharpen it to whatever degree or whatever angle you like, but remember, during that striking test, it did have a little bit less to be desired in performance. I think that it should have still been able to cut straight through that lime really easily, even with a 25-degree angle, but the blade itself, the material, is a little bit less desirable than, I would say, a carbon steel. Now, of course, it's the Navy. They have to have things that are salt-proof, waterproof, and won't rust on you. And it's a pretty good, well-rounded knife for the money. Now remember, as always, I test this stuff right here, so you don't have to. Alright guys, well, that's the Mare. Thanks for watching.